Now, a thought about testing the waters down under. After years of debate, the U.S. Navy wants to allow enlisted women to serve as submariners. It is a big step. Women officers were allowed to join subcrews 4 years ago. The full plan is currently under review by Congress, but some female veterans are concerned. They cite exceptionally close quarters and the long months at sea as risk factors for sexual harassment or even assault. Al Jazeera's Tonya Mosley with the story.
Traveling the depths of the ocean, they call themselves the Silent Service. For 110 years, a dedicated brotherhood of mariners, no women allowed.
So this is a popular place?
This is absolutely a popular place.
Until 4 years ago, when the U.S. Navy allowed female officers aboard ballistic missile submarines, like this one.
And you're the only woman here.
I am the only woman here.
Lieutenant Leanne Riley is one of 4 women officers serving on a crew of nearly 150 men. We asked her whether that concerned her.
We are all professional sailors together, and I am respected by these sailors as a lieutenant in the United States Navy, and I respect them for the service that they do every day.
She took America Tonight on a rare tour aboard an active-duty nuclear submarine. 560 feet long, the submarine space is at a premium. Every room here serves more than one purpose. This officer's rec room doubles as an emergency surgical center.
So this is what we call the supply shack. So this is where our logistics specialists will work out, and they manage the repair parts on board the submarines.
And when you're here in this office, how many folks are in here with you working?
We could have up to 4 people in this office. I like to keep it down to 2 or 3. So if you could,
for obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons, yeah. So I'm probably in here a solid 10 hours a day.
Long hours in tight spaces are the reality of submarine life. Crew members spend up to 3 months at sea with no windows and no privacy.
Here's an example of the living quarters. The hallways are about 2 feet wide. Around the corner here is a stateroom. This is where the officers often sleep and spend personal time. Here's one of their beds. There are often 3 of them to a room. Now, when enlisted women are allowed on board, there'll be 9 to a room slightly bigger.
The Navy recently made the announcement it will now allow enlisted women, not just officers, as part of an effort to fully integrate the submarine force by 2020. But when enlisted women are welcomed aboard, they won't have the same amount of privacy or authority as officers, and that has some female veterans worried.
What was your first reaction when you heard about women serving on submarines?
First reaction was, whoa, they are probably going to be in trouble. Because they're going to be in an enclosed space for a really long time with a lot of men. Women in those situations can be at high risk for sexual assault.
Sarah Blum is a retired Army captain, nurse, and author of a book about abuse in the military.
We spoke with an officer who's been serving on a submarine for 2 years, and she says she has had no problems.
That's good. That's really good. But I also know from all the interviews I did, I interviewed 60 women vets, World War II all the way up to current day. And I know that officers have a very different experience than enlisted. In fact, as an officer, I had a different experience from enlisted. So at the officer level, there is more respect.
The Defense Department's most recent report on sexual assault found that the vast majority of victims were young enlisted women. Officers represent less than 6% of reported assaults. Becky Wilson enlisted in the Navy at 24. She wanted to see the world.
I just felt it would be exciting. My brother-in-law was Navy, my cousin was Navy. And I loved the stories they told.
But surrounded by men, she soon found herself fighting them off.
At one point I had a chief that stalked me. He told me it was either I went to bed with him or I could have low evals.
After you were being stalked and sexually harassed, you went to your superior, and what happened?
He looked at me and he said, boys will be boys. And that's just the way things are. And I was still pretty naive, so I accepted it.
And she says it got much worse.
I was raped a couple of times, and I never told anyone. It's like women are fighting 2 wars, and they're fighting one war with the men that are supposed to be there side by side, and they're fighting the war over there too.
So when we talk about women serving on submarines, you have very strong feelings about it.
Yes, I do. I feel that if they're going to be aboard submarines, then it needs to be all female, because a submarine is close. You're walking through a passageway, you're brushing against each other. I just feel, you know, they're asking for a problem.
Does the fact that you're a woman ever cross your mind?
There are moments where you remember that, I think, when you're at work. In the day in and the day outs of what I do, it's really gender neutral. It's about a skill set, it's about training, it's about being a professional sailor.
Lieutenant Commander Eric Lundberg is Riley's commanding officer. He agrees that today, having women on board is no big deal.
I've come to find out that it is a non-event, it's a non-issue. There have been, none of the concerns that there was going to be a rash of fraternization, or how are we going to be in such close quarters with members of the opposite sex. Really, it has not even been close to the issue that anybody had thought it would be.
But the new crop of women submariners will be vastly outnumbered by men. 45 women officers are now serving on submarine crews, with another 53 in the training pipeline, a fraction of the more than 22,000 sailors who serve. Blum says the military's track record is cause for concern.
We know that there are 26,000 sexual assaults per year, and that's probably only a fraction of them.
Because those are the ones that are reported.
Those are the ones reported. And we know that in 2012, there was a 35% increase in the numbers. And in 2013, there was a 50% increase in the numbers. It's a cultural problem. It's in the culture, in the military.
The Navy says it is aware of the problem.
Sexual assault and sexual harassment are kind of societal issues that in the Navy, we also experience those because we're kind of a component of society, and that's where we come from. And so it's an issue that we take seriously and we're dealing with.
We talked to a Navy veteran who had grave concerns about the safety of women on submarines with sexual assault and sexual harassment. What is the Navy doing to combat that?
What most sailors would probably tell you is that they are used to that continuing drumbeat of treating each other with respect, with dignity, with integrity, and that really it comes down to the core values of our service. Putting things like sexual assault and sexual harassment kind of in the past is really what we're after.
The Navy says it strategically integrated female officers first, so they serve as mentors to enlisted women. As Lieutenant Riley wears her coveted dolphins, one of the highest achievements for a submariner, she understands she is forging a path.
When I joined the Navy, submarines were not open to women, so I served in the surface fleet. And when this opportunity opened up, it was a chance to continue to improve myself professionally, but then also to share my experience, my professional development, the time I've had in the Navy with junior women who are going to make careers of submarines.
For those that follow her, joining the Brotherhood of Silent Warriors is both an opportunity and a risk. Tonya Mosley, Al Jazeera, Washington.